My default way of dealing with uncomfortable situations is to either try to avoid it or try and get done with it as soon as I can. When I know there's a difficult conversation or some uncomfortable situation I have to deal with, I have to push myself to get through it. The default is to try and avoid it altogether. The parallel with GMAT that I'm drawing today is I find when students come across a question that they're not comfortable with. It could be because of the subject matter itself, for example, topics like absolute value, probability, assumptions, multi-source reasoning. I found some people, just when they see a question from one of these types, already they start feeling slightly anxious. So it could be the subject matter, it could be the way the question is worded or framed. There could be different aspects that lead you to feel not 100% comfortable. And then I see that many times they also do what I do with uncomfortable situations. They try to rush through it. Many times I find that they're not doing the normal things that we talk about in our sessions about being patient, taking time, processing information. They kind of are in a rush. So my hypothesis is that it's the discomfort that is causing them to rush because they want to get out of that situation as soon as they can. That's the default response. Now, if I were to intellectually think about ideally how should one respond when a question they find is not comfortable for them. The way I see it, let's say it were an exam situation, I have two choices. I'm not comfortable, I'll leave it right away. Or if I'm going to do it, then I'm going to give myself some extra time, given that I'm not comfortable with it. Leave aside the exam situation. When you're practicing and you're practicing in an untimed manner, certainly then give yourself extra time. When I say extra, I mean that usually, let's say you take 4 to 5 minutes to answer a question. This time be ready to spend more time. Because you are uncomfortable, you will need that extra time. Use that to break the sentence, each statement into small chunks, process every piece of information, think about things, and then create a plan of action with thoughts behind. Don't be in a rush to get to the answer. Now, one challenge is that many times you won't even know in the situation that you're feeling uncomfortable. It won't register at a conscious level. And therefore, that you're rushing would also not register. Well, not therefore, but typically that you're rushing also will not register in the moment itself. So the challenge now is that how do I realize in the moment that I'm not feeling comfortable and therefore my tendency would be to rush. So in case you don't become aware of these things, one more thing you can do is use your practice to notice trends and patterns. When do you find usually you become uncomfortable? Is there a particular question type? Is there a particular subject matter that you find makes you uncomfortable? And then in the future, when you come across a question from these identified sources or topics, then use that information to remind yourself that potentially this is a situation in which my default response will be to rush. And therefore, I'm going to be extra deliberate and cautious with the way I approach it. Because not only do I have to simply answer the question, but I have to fight my internal default response, which will try to rush through the question. So essentially, I'll slow down even more than I usually would.